Yeah, this is just going to be a quick video about moving fish such as beani, haitiensis, like media luna fish, like labradans and even bartoni, but especially things like the minklei and a lot of the rickefies other than haitiensis and cyanopatatas really, but any of the fish that are prone to bloat, I would definitely say, unless you really need, you know what I mean, especially things like haitiensis and beani, in my experience, just because they're the only two that I've kept so far out of them. Although I did put an order in for some labradans, but I ended up having my money refunded to me. But yeah, with these sort of fish, unless you need to move them, and really need to move them, don't, because although sometimes you can move them and they'll do fine, there's other times when, for no apparent reason whatsoever, you'll move them and they'll bloat. A lot of times, especially if you keep them in RO water and you've got a steriliser on there, and I don't mean one of them little silly built-in like internal filter ones, I mean like a proper like 36 watt steriliser, because most of the other ones are merely clarifiers. They're not really I think it's a minimum of 34 watts it needs to kill a lot of the parasitic organisms that are known in the hobby. But things like ick in the marine tank and all stuff like that is, you know what I mean, pretty much higher the better. I mean, I'd rather use a pond UV steriliser than a, you know what I mean, one of them green machine, what they mean, green killing machine or whatever the shit it's called. But them things, I mean, if you've got like a little 60 litre or 10 gallon tank, the American, that, I don't know, it might be 15 or whatever it is we use, but basically over here, like a 2 by 12 by 12 inch tank, you know what I mean, it might suffice with that. But you know what I mean, even with them sun filters with the 9 watt things on them, do you know what I mean, bulbs on them, for any sort of, even a tank this size, yeah, if it's for like things like intestinal parasites you want it for, yeah, you want at least something, you know what I mean, I would say 30, 32, 34, and then I've got a 36 on there, and I've also got a 21 at the minute, but it's only because the bulb on the big one is actually needs replacing soon, and because it's a Chinese one, it's not easy to get hold of, so I'm going to have to run two 21 watt UVs on it, the TMC ones. Is it 21? It might even be more than that actually, because it's the 600 I've got a 6 and a 4. So I'm going to add the 4 to it. I think this might be more than that, I think it might be something like 28 or even more. It's meant to be up to a 600 litre marine tank, so, you know what I mean, things like ick. But yeah, don't move unless you have to, honestly, and I know some people might get offended when you say that, because it's like, well, I know what I'm doing, and I believe you do, but if you're keeping things like beani and that anyway, but what I mean is that, and if you do, you also know it's like Russian roulette really, especially once the fish start getting bigger. But saying that, with the odos, and with the beani, I think they're more susceptible to problems when they're small. Do you know what I mean? I learned that the hard way. The first batch I had of these, what I ended up doing was, I had them in one of these little tanks here, like these lot. Yeah, but what happened was, I had these things, and they're not like cheap crap either, so it's not because of that white ball problems, but it was literally these Novafect, but it's the veggie tablet. Sorry, that original packet I did deliberately put there just to show you the scale to the size of this, how small this tank is, and basically when you're using tanks this small, really honestly recommend investing in one of these. I know I said it in a video before, but this, I forgot to mention the whole reasoning behind it was that when you've got a tank this small and you're growing out fry, yeah, what happens is that there's receptors in the fry, in the fish, that you know what I mean, it comes back, relays messages to the you know what I mean, to the brain and to the nervous system and all that about like what the body of water like that they're in. One, like if there's enough food, but two, if it's high levels of nitrates and it's, you know what I mean, it encourages them not to grow as quickly, because really what they're going to be doing, getting even bigger in such a small and, you know what I mean, polluted tank. So that's the whole, you know what I mean, need to, I mean, it's not a problem with bigger tanks, but when you're using small tanks like this, which is 28 litres, yeah, the problem is that even in a couple of days, because especially if you want to be heavy feeding them, because you're growing them up, so send to a shop now, the shops that I deal with won't take them unless they're an inch. So at the end of the day, what I have to do is get them to that size, but I don't want them taking forever in a tank this size. So what I do is put this the Hydro Pure, whatever it is, it's the Ocean Free Hydro Stream, but this is just the internal filter one. But I mean, it would do for something like this tank here. Sorry, I'm going through all my boxes now, getting all the, chucking out bits I'm keeping and bits I'm not. But something like this, I mean, that's sideways on, but I mean, that's a little 70 litre tank with a single female Cuban. But I mean, there's like a litre of biani in there, so it's really well filtrated. And also I'm using RODI on there as well, mixed with tap water, so it's really decent quality water. But I'm the same with this again, I'm using RODI, so together with the Hydro Pure and the RODI mixed with tap water, basically they still grow at the same sort of rate as they would in a tank where, you know what I mean, it was a much bigger tank or a much bigger body of water, without taking up as much space, obviously, by having them in a tank like this, because it can be, you know what I mean, it's a bit disheartening when you've got a tank like a 3-foot tank when you could be pairing up something like a, you know what I mean, a smallish pair of cichlids, you know what I mean, and instead you've got maybe 20, you know what I mean, half-inch fry in there. But basically I'm getting the exact same results with parameters as I am with this, as I am on the rest of my tanks, and there's no biomedia in there at all, other than a little tiny sponge filter. I mean, it's rated for 60 litres, but they're really not. You know what I mean? It's quite actually a slow flow I'm doing it, so it's just a minimum amount of flow going through it with maximum contact time. It's only really as a backup, and there's a bit of bio in there, and the Hydro Pure just basically makes them all in that, the ammonia, nitrite and nitrate. I'm going to do an update video this week anyway, because I'll have this fish room sorted out, or as much as I can do. I mean, really, I wasn't going to start, you know what I mean, sorting things out and all that, seeing as I was moving out, but when there's no end of this shit in sight with this corona bollocks, it's, I've just got to get on with it, because I'm still ordering fish at the minute through, you know what I mean, through courier, so I'm still breathing and that, and at the minute what it's doing is, because none of the shops that I was dealing with are taking any fry off as well at the minute, because they're not allowed to actually sell fish from the physical shop. But so the problem is, well, it's not really a problem actually, it's quite a bonus. By the time hopefully this does get lifted in 3 weeks, allegedly, if that does, I'll have some fry ready to go sizes. And not just that, some of them I've got in the grow out tank next door, well, the odds and sods tank and the grow out tank. But I've got flaviolus in there that are like, some of them are approaching like 2.5–3 inches. I've got what else have I got? Phorictes, Eliotti, I've got fry from them growing out. I've also got a breeding group of them, and yeah, I've got a couple of breeding pairs and a female that spawns with one of the males as well, so all 3 females and 2 males are breeding, so I might split up some pairs actually and sell some of them off. But yeah, I was gonna do a donation, like a prize for my 100th subscriber. I was gonna let him pick out some fry or you know what I mean, a tank even to go with the, like I mean, give you a blowout tank for the fry and that, but you have to have another tank. That's the only condition, you know what I mean. I won't give you fish that grow relatively large. I mean, I do have some fish that don't get as large that I could also give you, and I mean, I'll give you a breeding pair of whatever you wanted, but yeah, so I think I'm on 99 now, so whoever's the next subscriber would get it anyway. So just name what fry you want. You can see on there what it is I've got marine fish, coral, you know what I mean, you can pick something, and if it's to do with the cichlids, like I said, if you've really got a tank, I'll give you a fry tank for like full setup, or depending on what mood I'm in when you catch me, I might even do you a decent sized setup tank, do you know what I mean, for something like a breeding group of Eliotti or something to go in, something like one of the dual 100 and something litre tanks. But, yeah, I'll do that as a full setup, so whoever wanted it. I'm sure I've probably got an external filter and all that to go with it as well. But yeah, again, you could either pick some fry to grow up, or you could have a breeding, you know what I mean, pair of something like the Eliottis. Trying to think what else. Or you could have some fry, beani fry. You could have Cuban fry, Eliotti fry. Yeah. But sorry. Anyway, after that long-winded, you know what I mean, off-topic waffle. What I was getting back to was growing fish in these small tanks and using these hydro streams to offset, do you know what I mean, the water parameters, because normally you get spikes with tanks like that. So I'm just trying to show you. I mean, I'm already using one on the marine tank anyway. I'm using one on my beani tank, and I've got another one here. And my mate's got another one plotted up as well, but another, well, pretty much brand new one. This one's brand spanking new, but this is the big ones that go inline on your tank. I mean, that's brand new, literally never been used. Look, it's got all the clips and all that still in the cellophane, but they are good. Oh, sorry. But yeah, it just runs inline like it usually does, in there and then out there. But you can move the attachments around and that in case you want it, the hose to turn in different directions or whatever. But yeah, I've got like 3 of them now, so 4th one hopefully coming my way as well. My pal sell me that one. In fact, he's subscribing now, so I'm hoping he might do this. So really, I think it's not that right option. I'm a bit having on that section. But yeah, what I've done was, this is another thing you have to worry about, yeah, and I learnt this the hard way. Right, when you've got beani, they're right greedy little sods, but they don't do well with being overfed. Now, I'll still keep the temperature relatively high on them. I mean, what are these at? These are 84, 82. But, sorry, it's a bit of algae on here, but I'm not really too fussed about algae, to be fair. They eat it. But, what I've done was, like I said, I had these Nova Effect tabs, yeah, but these are the veggie ones. But they still do have some protein and that in them, I think, just not as much as the other ones. But these are the ones that are like, yeah, $8.50. So they're expensive, but they stick to the front of the glass by JBL. But obviously, when you stick a tablet that's like pretty much the size of one of them massive or delight pellets, yeah, to the front of the glass, and you've got even less fish in there than what's in there now. I think there was 12, and you stick that on there. Literally, I come back within half an hour. They look like balloon mollies with white little trails of shit coming out the back of them. So I knew they were goners. So yeah, this time I still use them because they're quite good actually. It's good to get them some vegetation matter, because even though they're, you know what I mean, I know they're omnivores, but they are predominantly piscivores from what I've gathered in the wild. Not just piscivores, but insects and stuff like that. But I mean, predominantly things that are alive. So there is protein in it. But I think it's when they're smaller they don't deal with. And another thing I've noticed, they don't deal with processed animal proteins. Yeah, and I don't know why that is. You can feed them a shit ton of fry and they don't bloat. And I can't explain that. Yeah, river shrimp again as well. I was feeding the adults river shrimp, and I'm not joking, I must have dropped a bag before. I didn't realise quite how many was in there. There must have been 100 in there, and they polished them off between the 5 of them, and no problem whatsoever. But I've given them pieces of prawns before, and literally only I dropped it in, but the big one, being a greedy sod, literally grabbed every bit, which was only 4 bits, which was 2 old prawns, and he started getting the white shit from it. But luckily I've done that little trick I was talking about, and it was sweet. But yeah, just be careful. These ain't like I said before, this ain't a hard species to breed at all. Do you know what I mean? It's just a case of following a few guidelines, like a few basic, you know what I mean, precautions that, you know what I mean, that you have to take, and you'll be fine. As long as you've got a way of processing the nutrients in the tank, yeah. Another thing to watch out for, TDS. Try and keep your TDS down low if possible. Do you know what I mean? Unless you're using RO, DI water, you're going to have a real problem doing that unless you're on a well. But anywhere near a city and using tap water, I know in London it's like around the 300 mark, and the pH from where I am is like I said before, it's like anywhere from 8.4 to 8.6, and that's like way too much. But not so much. I mean, it is way too much for most centrals. But what I mean is like a lot of centrals can, you know what I mean, prefer more alkaline water, but not that. You know what I mean? High pH. But like beani are one of the few centrals that actually prefer it on the more acidic side, from like 6 to like 7.5. I mean, they will tolerate it up to 8, but it's not ideal. And I've had much better success at breeding them at 6.5 than I have at any other thing. 82 degrees, 6.5 pH. Yeah, and nice steriliser, so there's no intestinal parasites. And right, on the one time just that I count as cheating, yeah, it's the only tank I do that on there. And really, I don't need to, but it's just a little safety, you know what I mean? It just makes me feel better, I suppose. But I use Purigen on that tank, just so I'm not going to risk. I've put so long and so much into growing these beani out. Do you know what I mean? To have gone from them San Pedro's years ago now, like good 3 years ago, and I had them going right up until sort of sub-adulthood, and then they just started, you know what I mean, dying overnight. They were, but if there was, I don't know what that was. That weren't no stirring up the substrate or nothing. That was, I don't know. I think that was just them being moved again, because they got moved like 3 times from tank to tank, and you just can't do that with them. Do you know what I mean? It was that done it to them. I think the stress of it just brought on bloat, and they just died. But well, you live and you learn. And I learned this way around. I lost one, didn't I? Due to moving it. But yeah, moved it, and then aggression. You know what I mean? Brought on bloat. So, well, not it being aggressive, but another fish showing aggression to it. Didn't even attack it really. It's just a case of, you know what I mean, chased it about for a little while, before I was able to remove it, and it was enough to bring any bloat about. I didn't even remove the beanie, I removed the other fish, but the damage was done. But yeah, I've got to move all this shit out tomorrow, but I mean, it's not just like shit, there's tons of equipment in there. Do you know what I mean? There's heaters, pumps. I mean, here it's in bits, but things like reef tide. Anyone who knows about pumps will know what that is, and they'll tell you that it's a real decent little DC pump. You won't get much more reliable than that.